I missed that. I missed that.
Well, okay, the first thing was that the Ghanaian authorities, the FDA, and even the pharmacists of Ghana believe that the problem is not as bad as the Africa-wide problem. So it's not 80%. They think it's less than half, a little under half, like 45%.
Still not good.
Fake. It's still scary. I mean, if there's a 50-50 chance that the drug you pick will be fake, that's bad enough.
That's bad enough.
And if this is what the officials are admitting to, then I think history tells us that it's likely to be a little more than that. This is what they are willing to admit to, right? But one thing is clear: authorities are doing what they should. They are trying their best, but there are too many blind spots. That's the reality. There are things they are unable to check. I mean, our borders are so porous.
Yeah.
So things can come in without their knowledge. Their market surveillance can be only so effective. You know, things will still slip through the radar, and it's difficult to see how they can do more market surveillance than they do. But they can do other things. They can give us tools so that we can check for ourselves.
Yeah.
And so today we're going to find out what the solutions are to this problem. What is the Ministry of Health doing to help give us more of a chance, you know, against fake drugs?
Yeah.
And we're also going to hear people's stories. They're going to call in and tell us their own stories with fake drugs. The thing kills who? It kills Papa.
Wow.
66 children died in the Gambia just in October. They took fake cough medicine.
Yes, I think I read that story.
All died. Just last month, Cameroon, another 9 kids dead. Cough medicine again. The UN says about 129,000 children die from taking fake antibiotics for pneumonia. Pneumonia alone, 129,000 across the continent. Do we even know how many of our people are dying from it? Do we even know?
Yeah. We
So
really
today,
can't tell.
Yeah, today we're going to figure out how to keep the population safer, you know, from this menace. That's what we're doing. Yeah. It makes you worry, you know, like.
And one of the things I think they should also, I don't know what they can do about it, is about the cost of drugs, because people tend to buy the cheaper ones, which are usually the fake ones.
Indeed. That tends to be the trend, right?
Yeah.
People are going according to their pockets.
Yeah.
So if we can do something generally about the cost of medication, I mean, if you're going to tax things heavily, should medication be one of them?
I don't think so.
So anyway, we'll talk about this and more today on the show. But yeah, very fair point you make. Okay, all right. We got the 6 a.m. news thanks to our friends at Total Energies. Total, we go the extra mile for you. Absa Bank Ghana Limited, helping you find a way to get things done. And Millennium Insurance, your trustworthy partner. For the Joy Business Report, our thanks go to Glyco Life Travel Insurance. Glyco, we cushion you for life.
Hi there, welcome to the Joy Business Report. Coming up this morning, Ghana's total debt stock expected to go up marginally for first quarter of this year after a significant drop in December 2022. Also, financial economist Professor Godfrey Bokpin expresses worry about the current structure of the International Monetary Fund support program for Ghana for the next 3 years. Meanwhile, the IMF insists Ghana's program is robust to deal with structural challenges facing the economy. We'll hear from resident representative of the fund, Dr. Leandro Medina. Details coming up. My name is Daryl. Kwawu. First up, Ghana's total debt stock could go up marginally for the first quarter of this year after a significant drop in December 2022. This is based on analysis of Ghana's economic data for the first 3 months of this year. Here's George Yafe.
Ghana's total debt stock witnessed one of its biggest drop in recent times. Bank of Ghana's data showed that it went down by 141 billion Ghana cedis to reach 435 billion Ghana cedis in December last year. This was not due to the debt exchange program or less borrowing by government, but just the fact that the Ghana cedi made some strong gains in December 2000 2022 to hit 8 Ghana cedis, 57 pesos against the US dollar. This impacted on calculations of the debt numbers when it comes to converting the external debts into Ghana cedis. Well, a careful look at the first quarter exchange rate showed that from that 8 Ghana cedi range, it has reached more than 11 Ghana cedis to the dollar ending March this year. The development will change the numbers the next time that fresh total debt stock data is released by the Bank of Ghana. Ghana's total debt stock ending December last year stood at 435 billion Ghana cedis. This did not include government's commitment to some sectors of the economy, which the IMF had in the past contested as to how the debt numbers are calculated. However, now that Ghana is under an IMF program, the fund might force the Bank of Ghana to add these commitments, which will again push the debt numbers when it's published for the first quarter of this year. Some have argued that the debt exchange program would impact on the debt stock, but it might be marginal when the data is finally released by the central bank.
George Afif there. Now, financial economist Professor Godfrey Bokwin has expressed worry about the current structure of the International Monetary Fund support program for Ghana for the next 3 years. According to him, the program, which is largely driven by revenue prescriptions, was not properly crafted because Ghana's problem is not about revenue mobilization, rather expenditure, which he says is characterized by numerous wastages and corrupt practices. Speaking on upfront on Joy News, Professor Bokwin said the way to go is for government to adopt a lean government, exhibit efficiency, and ensure higher value for money at all times, similar to practices of Singapore and Malaysia.
Given that we are not generating sufficient domestic revenue, and that itself is not the entire problem. And I've said this before, that if you look at the tax to GDP ratio of Malaysia, and you look at the tax to GDP ratio of Singapore, really, it has been almost below 15%. At some point in time, Ghana's tax to GDP ratio was higher than maybe Malaysia, Singapore. So you can see that Malaysia, Singapore, they have developed from lean government and efficiency and higher value for money, okay? In as much as we are encouraging government, and that is where I have a bit of a problem with the IMF program, that once your diagnosis of the problem is that we don't have a lot of revenue, that is why we run into these challenges, then the solution would also be heavily revenue-based.
The thoughts of financial economist Professor Godfrey Bokwin. Meanwhile, the IMF is insisting that Ghana's program has the required measures and policies to deal with structural challenges facing the economy. The program has come under criticisms from some analysts who have argued that it would rather leave the economy in a bad state after completion. But resident representative of the IMF, Dr. Leandro Medina, disagrees. He has been speaking on PM Express Business Edition, which airs tonight at 9 p.m.
There was a huge effort that was made by authorities taking, bold and very difficult decisions to get to this stage. We are quite confident about the strength of the program and that it will be implemented as it has been designed. I could say that commitment is there. The objectives are to, restore the macro, to get us out of the crisis, to ensure that debt is go down sustainable path, to increase growth and to make it more inclusive. And Ghanaians are really looking forward to see inflation going down, to see the improvement in the management of the fiscal account, and to see more opportunities and more growth. In that sense, we are quite confident that the conditions will be met and that we are going to have a very successful path forward.
That was resident representative of the IMF, Dr. Leandro Medina. He was speaking on PM Express Business Edition, which will air tonight at 9 on the Joy News channel. While still with the IMF, former Finance Minister Seth Terkper has said that Ghana's fiscal deficit will be a key indicator monitored by the fund to examine government's adherence to financial discipline. Speaking to Joy Business, he pointed out that the monitoring will be stringent to check overspending.
And when I say performance criteria, let me give a practical example. Maybe your deficit is around 12%. You need to bring it down to 6%. So over the period of the program, when you're supposed to bring it down, or midway through the program, you may be required to be reducing the deficit by 1 percentage point every, half month, or, reduce it by 2%, or whatever. So that will be an example. You may promise that you can bring SOEs and things on track so that their liabilities and things, do not weigh the economy.
Said Tekwe is former finance minister. Moving on, the Ghana Association of Banks is optimistic the banking sector will see a further recovery in the second quarter of the year when data on performance of banks are published. Speaking to Joy Business at the commissioning of the Financial Industry Command Security Operations by the Bank of Ghana, Chief Executive John Ewa said the central bank is closely working with commercial banks to strengthen the operations.
I would say so. It will not be a day and night event. It is going to be a situation where we are going to witness gradual improvement in the economic variables. We've seen inflation trending downwards. It's currently around 41%. We've seen the exchange rate also maintaining some relative stability, even the last a few days, appreciation against the major trading currencies. So all these should point to a positive trajectory in the economic variables. With this, we are anticipating that in the coming weeks, when central bank starts their next round of the MPC, and given how the situation will be at the time, perhaps we will be looking at a different view of the monetary policy rate that should also help to trend down the other market rates.
John Ewa is Chief Executive of the Ghana Association of Banks. Now, there is a significant shift from brick and mortar way of doing business to online operations in Ghana that needs to be monitored closely. This is according to Training and Capacity Building Manager at the West African Tax Administration Forum, Dan Asabi Ozayashi. He's therefore calling on tax administrators to improve their capacity in the use of technology to identify taxpayers and businesses that are moving the operations online.
Capacity is what we all need to have optimum revenue in our region, West Africa, and in our various countries. So, geospatial analytics is something that will help us build this knowledge on locations of our taxpayers and how well their businesses are growing. If you attend this training, you will see later on that you could even monitor the activities of taxpayers, how they are growing, and you also can even map out the revenue that is collected from any particular section or part of the country. So it's very important for revenue administration, and looking at most businesses are going digital. Tax administration also needs to follow suit to go digital. In fact, you need to go ahead of them so that you can maximize revenue from these digital services.
Dan Asabi Ozayashi, Training and Capacity Manager for the West African Tax Administrators Forum. On Investor Eye today, Emmanuel Mensah Pia, Director in charge of Risk Management Department at the Securities and Exchange Commission, speaks on the form a Ponzi scheme may take. Listen.
The way it works is that somebody sets up a scheme or does an advert, people come in, he collects their money, but the money does not go into production. It's just in a bag. So later on, when new people come in, the people who came first will be paid their returns duly and nicely. So they will not have any suspicion of even taking their money out of the scheme. Then it comes to a time when the new people are not in the volumes that they want, then it means that the amount of money available is going down. And that is when people rush in to go for their money. And maybe by that time, it's too late.
Investor Eye comes your way every Tuesday and Thursday in the mornings on the Joy Business Report. Can't believe I'm being asked who Tina Turner is. But before we go, let's check the markets. Crude oil selling at $78 a barrel. Gold lost marginally to open trading at $1,956 an ounce. Cocoa trading at $3,010 after losing $6 from yesterday's trading. Also on the currency market, the dollar going for 11 cedis 10 pesos. The pound going for 13 cedis 80 pesos. And the euro selling this morning at 11 cedis 90 pesos. More news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. Thanks for listening, everyone. And Tina Turner is a queen of rock and roll.
Oh, so you know who she is.
Oh, I do.
All right. For a bonus question.
Oh.
Do you know that's not her name?
Well, I didn't know that.
No, that's not Tina Turner's name at all.
What's her real name?
I don't know if I should make it a quiz. People will Google it. People will cheat and Google it.
But
But Tina Turner is not her name. She was not born Tina Turner. It's not her name. It's not even like some remix of her name.
Okay.
Her name is Anna Mae Bullock.
Oh, now I remember because I watched a movie about her.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it was in December
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember.
Yeah.
That's true.
Anna
That's really
Mae
true.
Bullock. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Died at the age of 83 after
83.
an illustrious career. Look, people don't realize this woman, she won 13 Grammys. 13.
Wow.
Okay. 8 of them were, the usual, like, what's it called? Competitive ones. She won 3 Hall of Fame Grammys and 1 Lifetime Achievement.
Wow.
Like, everything that is winnable in music, she won it. She had one of the biggest comebacks in musical history. She was 40-something in the 80s when she came back with What's Love Got to Do with It. She had been counted out. I mean, nobody thought she would ever make it again. 40-something, 44 years old, she came back and made it big. Number 1 song in the whole world.
Wow.
Great she's
talent.
done everything. And even in her 70s, Tina Turner was still performing, and she looked amazing. You should see her, like her legs. Rihanna recently insured her legs or whatever, and everybody was thinking, oh, what amazing legs. If you want amazing legs, Tina Turner in her 70s.
Wow.
Rihanna Kramba.
Wow.
And she was so energetic with her performances. I am actually surprised that she passed at 83. She's one of those people I thought could live forever.
And taking into consideration the things she had to go through, abusive relationship and all of that.
Yeah.
Wow.
She became
a strong woman.
Yeah, she became a symbol for, fighting against domestic abuse. Because I think sometimes the hardest thing for an abused person is to leave,